March 28th, 5/13, 2022. Just came up with an idea. If you use it and you make a bunch of money, I want 9%. Okay? If only we could check the algorithms and go back in time and find out who really came up with ideas. Because I've seen a friend of mine, Jimmy Lewis, have his song stolen by big artists. People maybe won't believe me or that, but they just changed it enough that people don't know, right? And they're like, no, that's not your song, right? Well, that's the trick of this game, right? Kind of like Led Zeppelin, one of the notorious Destiny stealing band, right? So maybe my destiny is to be a film writer or something like that. But here's a really quick breakdown of an idea for a movie. Nobody do this in real life, okay? All the crazy leaders in the world right now, and they're like, some of them might be like, this is the movie, right? A lot of them are run by like nanobots, and they're not even thinking for themselves, and they have like, there's frequencies that they're sending into these nanobots that make the nanobots react in a different way. So the nanobots are like little they've created parasites pretty much, that as soon as the body becomes a little bit stressed out or any of these things, they start to think the body's dying, and they start to kill the body like a parasite would do to try to win and get as much fuel from the body that they can before the body dies, right? So that'd be the idea of these, like how like certain people are like steel, and the nanobots won't even work for them. Even some of them even turn the nanobots on themselves, and they make the nanobots really excited to be in the body that they're in, so that they start to exude chemicals to the body, and then the person becomes a higher mortal, maybe even immortal, because these nanobots are so intelligent that they're like, wow, this is a good host, I'll stay here as long as I can. And these nanobots actually turn the dark magic, black magic, from the crazy leader in the movie, the Antichrist. They turns and flips that black magic on its head, and uses it to win the fight, like the David versus Goliath fight, using the nanobots, right? So he's all by himself in this, because everybody in his life is thinks he's crazy, because he's got all this new intelligence that he seems to be downloading from the computers, from the Antichrist, and all this like electric collective consciousness. So he's bringing in collective consciousness from these nanobots that are connected to the collective consciousness. So he's turned that on its head, and now he's got all this intelligence and all this knowledge he's never knew he had, but I guess it was always in his genes, right? He just needed something to get the pump going. And so because of that, all his family and friends and everybody thinks he's nuts. He's like, what the hell is he even talking about? They don't even understand him anymore, because he's becomes like, just like a Superman, but a biological one, right? An immortal one. So and it's kind of like an alchemical thing, but a sci-fi alchemical rather than the actual alchemical thing, right? But the crazy thing about this movie is, though, that the guy that does it in the movie, he goes around and he is like a ninja. Nobody knows where he is. He knows like the five elements of ninjutsu, and so he is able to slide in and out. Nobody knows of him, and he's able to just slide up to these rulers, right, and just poke them or like with a little, or maybe one of those little, you know how they have the heart attack guns where they shoot a little piece of like ice in, and then the person has a heart attack later or whatever, right? And that was like an old conspiracy, but it ended up being true. Well, this guy, he makes a, not a heart attack gun, but an ego death gun. So in the ego death gun or syringe or whatever way he does it, maybe he walks up and he goes and blows him in his face, like, you know, the classic black magic thing, right? And then, but the ego death is done with 5-MeO or some kind of like conscious God source creating a psychedelic or tryptamine, right? So he comes up to like a person like Biden or whatever, or any of these rulers. We won't call him Biden in the movie, obviously, but he'll go up and he'll just be like, and then disappear, and they'll be like chasing him around, be like, where the fuck did he go? He just disappeared, right? And the president falls to the ground into the fetal position like a little baby and disappears into a whiteout for like 3 hours or something, right? And then he comes back and he's like this reborn, like born again person, right? And then he's like, oh my God, what have I been a part of? And then he's like, and then he like, people are like, what happened to Biden? And he disappears for a few weeks, and he comes back and he's got like, he's like wearing all this like hippie clothes and has this different look in his eye, and he becomes like a benevolent dictator, and he turns all the stupid shit he did around, and he flips everything on his head. So this ninja is never known by anybody. Nobody ever meets him, but the ninja goes around all over the world just flipping people's psyches and turning them to God, right? To the Godhead. And that's why they call like 5-MeO the God molecule, right? Or NDMT, which is in ayahuasca, is the spirit molecule. And I'll go into that stuff later. That's kind of deep. It can be simple, but it's quite deep also. However, the idea is that yeah. All I say is that if somebody makes this idea and it's just like my idea, I am going to be so excited because it changes the world anyways. However, show me the respect and give me my 9% that I earned by making up this story. And oh, sorry, I didn't make up this story, okay? However, I channeled this story. But however, that doesn't mean there shouldn't be retribution for a receiver, right? So if somebody's receiving all this music and art and all these ideas, then, that's a gift from God. And a lot of people are like, oh, they have a gift from God and they give them nothing for it. However, if you help prime the pump for people that do have lots of ideas, then you're creating a better world. So those that are creating good ideas that you believe in, support them, you know? If you have a lot of money and you want to change the world, then invest in these people, right? You can help them with their business stuff, like all the stuff they don't understand, because very creative people, they need a left brain to help them, right? So you just like say, hey, I'll help you change the world, and I'll just make sure you keep all your numbers straight, or whatever it is, right? And you just take your small percentage for that, and I would say 9% is a nice, weird place to ask. So, yeah. What would we call this movie? The Unexpected Change, or Collective Ego Death, or yeah, whatever. Let's work together on this. Somebody give me a call. Let's make this story real. All right. Much love. Bye.